Today on Time About the Movies, the creators of Fireproof are back with a brand new film in Courageous. Joseph Gordon-Levitt gets cancer, and there's actually a very good, heartwarming comedy about it in 50/50. We'll take a look at that. We also have Daniel Craig starring in yet another movie, post-James Bond, with Naomi Watts and Rachel Weisz, the horror film Dreamhouse. Chris Evans, and coming off of Captain America, stars alongside Anna Faris in the romantic comedy What's Your Number. We have probably one of the most underrated horror comedies you'll ever see, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, and Michael Sheen starring in a movie about the apocalypse in Take Shelter, along with Jessica Chastain, too. So, 6 movies to take a look at as we wrap September 2011 off. This is, of course, Time About the Movies.
Give it an A+, 4 stars, a must-see. The film that is touching the hearts of moviegoers everywhere. Courageous, rated PG-13, now playing in theaters.
Yeah, that's right. We're not the #1 movie in America, but we're the #1 new movie in America. I mean, just the fact that this thing made more money than any of the new releases should be more than enough to say, hey, this is something that a lot of people are going to see. But with all that said, welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. Today we are taking a look at the 6 movies of September 30th, 2011, and we are starting off with Courageous. 4 men, 1 calling, to serve and protect. As law enforcement officers, they face danger every day. Yet when tragedy strikes close to their homes, their fathers are left wrestling with their hopes, their fears, and their faith. From the struggle will come a decision to change all their lives. With action, drama, and humor, this 4th film from Sherwood Pictures embraces God's promise to turn the hearts of fathers to their children and the hearts of children to their fathers. Sources will be stirred and hearts will be challenged to be courageous. Yeah, I don't know anything about this movie. I've never seen it before. I've never really had the need to go see this movie. Kind of the same way I had no need to see Fireproof. I mean, this movie just wasn't made for me personally. These type of movies are very hit and miss. More miss than hit when you really think about them. They're only made tailored to a specific audience in particular. And yeah, I'm not in that particular audience in general. I find a lot of these movies overall to be genuinely pretty sappy and pretty lousy. These faith-based movies really don't usually have the oomph they need to really get me to say, wow, that was actually pretty good. And yeah, this one I've never really had any real need to go check it out, and I've never seen it before, nor have I really had the urge to go see it again, and to see it at any point whatsoever. And yeah, like I said, not much more to say about this one. I just have no need to see this film in general. But hey, give it credit for for once again doing what Fireproof did years ago and becoming a hit without really a whole lot of marketing and using a lot of Christian groups and all that to get the people to come to the theaters. And lo and behold, it made over 17 times its budget at the box office. So yeah, take that for what you will. So give them credit for that. But the movie that I was looking forward to checking out this weekend, and I did go to see, and I really enjoyed the hell out of it, is our next movie, and that is 50/50.
What are your chances? 50/50? You'll be fine, man. If you were a casino game, you'd have the best odds.
Having a dog helps with the healing process.
What, does he have a medical license?
I'm moving in. No.
I'd rather Adam. Exactly, that's why. Come on, let's just do it. What do you use this for?
Body trimmer, so...
What is it? 50/50, rated R, in theaters September 30th.
Oh my god, Sean Edwards has a review on a TV spot. Run for your life. Wait. He has it on a good movie. Excuse me for 1 second. Yeah, I can see it. Hell is officially frozen over. Sean Edwards actually likes a good movie. Hey, a broken clock is right every once in a while. Inspired by a true story, a comedy centering around a 27-year-old guy played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt who learns of his cancer diagnosis and his subsequent struggle to beat the disease. This is based on the life of the screenwriter Will Reiser's life. And of course, everyone's big concern about this movie in particular was, how do you make a good, lightweight, heartfelt comedy about cancer? Cancer really is something where it's just kind of like, there's not really much of a laugh, is of a humor element you can add to this, but lo and behold, 50/50 not only did it, but did it in a way where it makes this one of the year's best movies. They pulled it off and did a damn good job at it. It's a breakthrough for Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who is always somebody I've really liked. I've liked his work in supporting roles, from his work in television, and of course on Third Rock from the Sun, also from his stuff that he does on Hit Record on TV. I'm a big fan of this guy. I've really enjoyed his work over the years. He's given another solid performance in here. He's really great. Seth Rogen, this is a big return to form for him. I mean, he was being Seth Rogen while at the same time not being Seth Rogen. He brought an element to the table here that has been missing from the couple of movies that he's been doing since then. He got a really strong cast that also includes Angelica Houston, Anna Kendrick, Philip Baker Hall, Matt Frewer, all very well done. And it does play its part out very well. And it's, like I said, it's hard to make a comedy about cancer and make it good, funny, and moving. And I think Funny People tried to do that, and while it wasn't perfect, it worked just enough. This is the movie that Funny People was trying to be, and succeeded much better than a movie like this succeeded much better than a movie like Funny People did. It also does keep you guessing at the end, because it's obvious the screenwriter lived in real life, because he wrote the script, obviously. But you don't even know if Gordon-Levitt's going to make it to the end, because we know how Hollywood acts these days, and it ends on a really solid note overall that really does push it make it seem like they're not just forcing it in there at the last minute, forcing a happy ending in there at the last minute. Like, it feels like a legitimately good ending overall that fits for the story that is in this particular film. It is one of the best movies of the year. It takes a very serious subject and makes a really good comedy out of it. The cast is great. The jokes work really well. The comedy bits work very well. The emotional moments are really good. It's just a really, really damn good movie, and one that I highly recommend checking out. 50-50 is indeed one of the year's best movies, bar none. Certainly not one of the year's best movies, and maybe one of the worst movies of the year. Daniel Craig, starring with Naomi Watts and Rachel Weisz in the horror film from Jim Sheridan, Dream House.
You're home! You live here and you don't know about the murders.
Peter Slaughterhouse.
Did you know the people who used to live here?
Everybody who lives in this house gets killed.
Get away from my family!
Who are you?
Dream House. Rated PG-13.
From my left foot to this. Just wow. Some say that all houses have memories. For one man, his home is the place where he would kill to forget. A family unknowingly moves into a home where several grisly murders were committed, only to find themselves the killer's next target. A successful publisher, played by Daniel Craig, quits his job in New York City to relocate his wife, Rachel Weisz, and two girls to a quaint New England town. But as they settle into their new life, they discover their perfect home was the scene of a murder of a mother and her child, and the entire city believes it was at the hands of the husband who survived. When Will investigates the tragedy, his only lead comes from Ann Patterson, played by Naomi Watts, a neighbor who was close to the family that died. As Will and Ann piece together the disturbing puzzle, they discover that the story of the last man to leave Will's dream house will be just as horrifying to the one who came next. Hi, Amityville Horror. I mean, that's literally what this movie is. It is a cheap knockoff of the Amityville Horror, except we've got bigger stars in here. And, you know, at least a movie like Cowboys and Aliens was trying. This is not trying at all. This takes good talent and just 100% wastes them on every single bit in here. Everything you see in this movie is legitimately taken from every other haunted house movie, not just Amityville Horror, but several other movies of the same subject, of the same type in general. Like, they aren't even trying to hide it. And for Jim Sheridan, this is a low point for a guy who's made such memorable movies as My Left Foot, In the Name of the Father, The Boxer, In America, Get Rich or Die Trying. Even Brothers, his last movie, was at least trying. This just feels like he was just half-assing it for a paycheck, and I'm ashamed of this guy. This guy hits an all-time low here. Everybody hits an all-time low with this movie. It's not scary. It's stuff we've seen done before many, many times in the past, and it's just not a good movie. It's just not a good film. It's a lazy film, a terrible movie. It's not scary whatsoever. If you've seen every other haunted house movie, you have seen Dream House. Yeah, plain and simple, terrible, terrible film. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to another underrated little gem that came out this weekend. Anna Faris and Chris Evans starring in What's Your Number?
6% of women who have been with 20 or more lovers can't find a husband. 20?
What's
6,
your
8,
number?
9, 1. You're at 91.
No! I am not going to sleep with one more guy until I am sure he's the one.
Barry, it's Allie.
Oh, doesn't ring a bell.
We dated for like 3 months.
Oh, let's see how things are going now.
Oh, Allie!
Of course.
What's your number? Look for it on Blu-ray and DVD.
See, now this is a prime example of what happens when you take a romantic comedy that's been done to death before and actually do something very fun with it and actually work because your two leading actors are having good chemistry together. Anna Faris stars as a woman who's had many ex-boyfriends who turned out to be losers. Now she believes she can't find the good guy, but when she runs into one of her exes, who's now Prince Charming, played by Chris Evans, she decides to look up all of her exes. Now, I'm sorry, that's not him in this role. We'll get to him in a little bit, but she decides to look up all of her exes to see if any of them have changed for the better. And she's had exes like Thomas Lennon, you see in the trailer there, Chris Pratt, who was then married to Anna Faris at the time of this movie's making. I'm trying to remember who else was in here. I think Joel McHale was one of the other ones here. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I remember really enjoying it. Zachary Quinto, who plays the boyfriend that she ran into early on in the film. But when she has trouble locating them, she asks her neighbor Colin, that's the one who's played by Chris Evans, who sleeps with a different woman every night and seeks out the morning after to avoid talking to them to help her. And you can tell they're going to get together at the end. And you have a good cast in here, not just Anna Faris and Chris Evans, but as I mentioned, Joel McHale, Chris Pratt, Thomas Lennon. You have Blythe Danner, Ari Grainer, Ed Begley Jr., Eliza Coupe, Tika Sumpter, Zachary Quinto, Andy Samberg, Martin Freeman, Aziz Ansari. Just a terrific cast all across the board in this movie. And they are making this material work really well. The humor in here is very well done. This is co-written by Jennifer Crittenden, who wrote for The Simpsons and The Critic. So yeah, you got a pretty solid writer on this film. But you like the chemistry between Anna Faris and Chris Evans. I think these two really do work off each other really well overall. I think they're very entertaining to watch in this movie. They have a lot of good funny moments in here. Anna Faris can usually make funny moments in this really good. Mark Mallory is the director of this movie. He's directed a lot of television work, but he's directed stuff like Ology in the House. He also, coincidentally, 11 years later, made The Menu of home movies, which talk about a difference between this and The Menu. And The Menu is a great movie, but yeah, this movie definitely ate The Menu in terms of the genre, and as good as that movie is, The Menu is really good. It's one of those movies that is very predictable, no question about it, but it is a film that you go into it knowing that's a predictable movie. You go into it knowing it's going to be one of these cliched riddled romantic comedies, but it works because the two leading actors are really good, and you want to see them get together at the end. Anna Faris and Chris Evans do work off each other very well. The cast is really good. The comedy is really good. This is a really good movie. It's one you should definitely check out. It's one that didn't get the best reception at the box office or critic-wise. Some people even said that releasing this just right after Chris Evans found his newfound stardom with Captain America seemed like they were moving way too fast on that, but I say it actually made it worth it in the end, because it was a really funny movie. It definitely is one you want to check out. What's Your Number is a really good movie. Here's another great underrated comedy that came out this weekend. One of the funniest horror comedies you will ever see in your life. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil.
Got another one inside. Oh, she's in my bedroom. Heads up. Oh, you gotta take the safety off on the side there. Don't do it. Start being more careful. Time to die. Drink.
Sorry to cut it off there because the end card was coming up on that trailer, but those scenes alone are really funny, and the whole premise is just pitch perfect. You've got Tyler Levine and Alan Tudyk playing a pair of well-meaning hippies who are mistaken for killers by a group of clueless college students who have pretty much entered your typical horror movie Evil Dead setup here. Cabin in the Woods would make fun of this later on the next year, and would be more seen as the memorable movie of the two. And that's a great movie as well, but this movie is absolutely fucking hilarious, man, because you have these hillbillies who are just doing their normal jobs, and they see these college kids, And, you know, unfortunately, they're living in this world where everything that they do, no matter how hard they're trying to help these kids, they keep dying in the most bizarre and most hilarious ways possible. There's one scene in particular where one of the kids jumps in, is about to go after one of the hillbillies and decides to just go inside and tries to jump him, but they're right next to a, what do you call it? What's that thing called? I just had it for a second. A wood chipper. I just had it in my head, and it completely just slipped away from me. But he's right next to a wood chipper, and so when the kid's about to run and jump the hillbilly gets away, not even knowing that he's there, and the kid literally just dies inside the wood chipper. Like, you see blood splattering everywhere, and the dude's just like, Jesus Christ! Like, that scene alone makes this movie worth it. Tyler Labine and Alan Tudyk are absolutely hilarious in this. You got a really fun cast of college students led by Katrina Bowden from 30 Rock. But the concept alone, the hilarity of the over-the-top horror humor in this is just so damn good. This is talking about the same guy that did Clown in the Cornfield not too long ago. So yeah, take that for what you will. But yeah, this is a film that's absolutely freaking hilarious. It didn't get the proper respect it did back in the day. It kind of came and went at the box office, but it has gone on to have a massive cult following, and I'm glad to see that it did that because it's absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely freaking brilliant. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. We got Halloween coming up, as of the time of recording, it's about a month from now. Seek this movie out. You will not be disappointed by it at all. So with all that said, let's go ahead and move on to our last movie that we have here, and that is Jessica Chastain and Michael Shannon starring in Take Shelter.
Anyone seeing this?
The signs are everywhere. How can a man protect his family?
Thinking about cleaning up that storm shelter.
Are you out of your mind?
From the looming tempest within himself.
What's going on?
I'm afraid something might be coming.
Jessica Chastain and Michael Shannon Take Shelter.
There is a storm coming!
There's no storm.
What if it's not over?
Coming in November on FearNet.
Once again, couldn't find a TV spot, so I had to take it from a commercial on television a couple years later. But the story of this is that you have Michael Shannon as a young father and husband who is plagued by a series of apocalyptic visions and questions whether to shelter his family from a coming storm or from himself and his increasing worries of over having paranoid schizophrenia. So yeah, it's not just a movie that's just about the apocalypse in general. It's about, you know, tackling the issues of serious stuff that we still deal with today. Mental illness, masculinity, the lengths people go to protect the ones they love. It's a movie that is very much a film that still very much is something that gets talked about to this very day. And this is just a really well-made film. It's a great performance from Michael Shannon. Jessica Chastain, who's having a banner year this year with another great performance in here. This is directed by Jeff Nichols. Jeff Nichols is a guy who's made a lot of really good stuff. He'll follow this up next year with the movie that was kind of another pushing point to Matthew McConaughey's career renaissance with Mud. He would later go on to direct Midnight Special, Loving. He just did the Bike Riders a year ago. Still have yet to see that movie, but I've heard some mixed things about it. But this is a really good movie. It's a very intense film. It's a very well done film that knows exactly what it's trying to get by. And it's a movie that, like I said, is still very much relevant to this very day with the issues that they're handling. And you feel for the characters overall. You feel for everybody in there. You feel for Michael Shannon. You feel for Jessica Chastain. You feel for their kid. You feel for all these people. Like, you know, there's wanting to help people, and then there's taking it to a level where you're pushing your luck here. This is like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer watches a Left Behind spoof movie called Left Below, and he thinks that he can figure out what the apocalypse is going to take place, and you know, they go to the place where it's supposed to happen, and you know, they're all waiting for it to happen, and it just never does. And then, sure enough, when Homer goes back again because he miscalculated when it was going to happen, when he goes back, he's the one that only makes it to heaven because everybody else decided not to listen to him. Imagine that, except this is played seriously and done is over an hour and a half long. That's the type of movie that this film is, and it works. It works very well. It's a very good movie, and one that is well worth checking out. Take Shelter. Definitely see it, and definitely see a lot of potential from Jeff Nichols coming from this film that he would bring us later on down the road with his future films. And thus, with all that said, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, Hugh Jackman stars in Sean Levy's robot action film, Real Steel. We have George Clooney back in the director's chair with Ryan Gosling in the film adaptation of The Ides of March. And then we have the sequel to last year's surprise hit, The Human Centipede. And yeah, you're about to see why that first Human Centipede movie should have just been one movie. Because, man, did Human Centipede 2 full sequence ruin the absurdity of the original, and that was fun. That was a disgusting, but you can't look away type of movie. This is just disgusting, and you want to look away because, yeah, it's nowhere near as good as the first Human Centipede movie. But we will delve more into that tomorrow on the show, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Now, with all that said, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the last episode above. So, with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care.